ठीक। कूल यार। और मिहिर, हाउ आर यू?
आई एम गुड। तुम कैसे हो?
बढ़िया है यार। हम हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स करके थोड़ा सा ही करेंगे बिकॉज आई
जो
एम
निकल गया मुझ से।
जो जो मुंह से निकल गया, जो अनफिल्टर्ड मुंह से निकल गया, जो शब्द निकल गया वही
हाँ।
जनता तक पहुंचाएंगे, है ना?
हम्म,
तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट दे देता हूँ यार पहले, बिकॉज दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट।
यस।
कॉन्टेक्स्ट सिर्फ इतना सा है कि I've been working in study abroad for a couple of years now, and I realize कि यार while there is a lot of understanding related to कि यार admissions कैसे करने हैं, visa कैसे करने हैं, क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, there's very limited understanding अराउंड जो लोग वहाँ पर कुछ ना कुछ कर रहे हैं या जी रहे हैं। जो ड्रीम हम लोग अमेरिकन ड्रीम बोल रहे हैं या फिर यूके की ड्रीम बोल रहे हैं, जो लोग वहाँ पर जी रहे हैं, राइट? उनकी रियल लाइफ स्टोरीज, रियल लाइफ इंसिडेंट्स, उनका मोटिवेशन, उनके इंस्पिरेशन, रैशनल कि यार डज इट मेक सेंस, डज इट नॉट मेक सेंस, वाज इट वर्थ इट, वाज इट नॉट वर्थ इट, राइट? वो बहुत अनफिल्टर्ड तरीके से कहीं पर भी नहीं है, राइट? एंड हेंस आई थॉट कि यार आई रीच आउट टू अ कपल ऑफ फोक्स दैट आई नो, जो ऑलरेडी वहाँ पर पढ़ रहे हैं, एंड स्टार्ट इंटरेक्टिंग विद देम टू अंडरस्टैंड, टू बिल्ड दैट लेयर, टू बिल्ड दैट इमोशनल लेयर along with obviously a lot of financials, academics, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा के साथ साथ, ठीक है? तो केवल इतना सा ऑब्जेक्टिव है। तो मिहिर, एक्सपेक्टेशन बस इतनी सी है कि यार जो भी बोलो दिल से बोलना, अनफिल्टर्ड बोलना, राइट? डजेंट मैटर वो पॉलिटिकली करेक्ट है या नहीं है, बट तुम जो फील कर रहे हो, तुमको जो लगता है वो बताना लोगों को, राइट? बिकॉज आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आउट देयर। For the larger audience, I would like to first introduce Mihir. Mihir is my college friend. हम लोगों ने 4 साल बहुत बकैती काटी है ना? और right now
यस।
he is doing his PhD in USA. So I thought I'll invite him as my first guest to help everybody know कि यार कैसे क्या, how does it function, how does it not, right? Mihir, I'll request you to sort of spend 30 second, 1 minute, introduce yourself, टेल एवरीबॉडी आप कौन हो, कहाँ से हो, क्या कर रहे हो, उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा। ओवर टू यू।
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to start with thanking Hardik for setting this up, and I'm glad that I get to be the first one in this conversation, in the series of conversation that I'm sure he will do. Um, and it has always been my kind of a back in the mind that the help that I received from seniors or the colleagues when I was applying for PhD, that I transfer it. तो कुछ कुछ एक्सटेंट तक मैं कर पाया था वो, बट बिकॉज इट वाज ड्यूरिंग कोविड व्हेन आई केम, बहुत कम लोग उसके बाद आए थे। तो वो जो एक जो लिंक होती है टू पासिंग ऑन नॉलेज और guiding other people, that was broken, like many other things that that were broken during COVID, and
राइट
things are starting to kind of heal now. Like the universe is trying to heal with that disruption. So in that way,
राइट।
this is a really good effort that you are doing, Hardik.
थैंक्स मैन।
मेरा पूरा नाम है मिहिर प्रजापति। मैं पालनपुर गुजरात का रहने वाला हूँ। फिर मैंने आईआईटी रुड़की ज्वाइन किया मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग ब्रांच में 2015 में। फिर वहाँ 3 साल पूरे करने के बाद मैंने अपना प्रोग्राम ड्यूअल डिग्री में कन्वर्ट करा लिया। तो बैचलर्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ मैंने मास्टर ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी की भी डिग्री लेनी है, ऐसा डिसाइड किया, एंड दैट वाज अ स्पेशलाइजेशन, सो इट वाज इन थर्मल इंजीनियरिंग इन द सेम डिपार्टमेंट, and I graduated in 2020. And then during my undergraduation and like the combined dual degree program, somewhere I decided that I want to pursue further study. I want to go into the research side. So I went for PhD and I came to University of Maryland, College Park, in USA in 2021 of January. And yeah, since then I have been doing my research work at University of Maryland. within a year or so, I will finish my PhD. That might sound very long, but that's very typical for a PhD person because it can it can take maybe a whole lifetime if you
Right.
pursue the problem to the end. There is
Hmm.
and when you realize there is no end. So it's always a balance between how much you want to get trained while you pursue that problem. So, so then you realize that PhD is all about being trained rather than
Right.
solving something. So
Got
that's
it.
about me.
Hmm. Very nice to have you here with us. ठीक है. चलो, cool. I think I'll start with the questions that I have, है ना? So,
Sure.
uh, when I speak to the students, right, the first hurdle that generally they have to cross is uh, defining, yeah, this is the university that I want to get into, right, that I want to go to. So then there's this layer of university selection. How do you decide where to go, क्या पढ़ना है, और कहाँ से पढ़ना है? ये दोनों चीज़ें सबसे प्राइमरी कंसर्न होता है किसी भी स्टूडेंट का जिसको जाना होता है. Obviously, I'll touch a bit, a little later on कि यार what motivated you to take this path, क्योंकि वो थोड़ा सा और आई थिंक डीप जाना पड़ेगा अपने को. बट थोड़ा सा सुपरफिशियली आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ डिड यू डिसाइड कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटी में जाना है, विच ऑल यूनिवर्सिटीज वर देयर दैट यू अप्लाइड टू, कहाँ से एडमिट्स आए, कहाँ से नहीं आए, थोड़ा सा वो एक बार बता दो.
Yeah. So the question of which, how did I decide? There is a straightforward answer that the university decided that I am eligible for their program and they gave
ओके.
admission to me. So I didn't have like anyone else. I didn't have a lot of options that
हम्म.
this is the one that I will go to. Yes, I
राइट.
applied to many other universities, but the one they gave acceptance to me, those were
हम्म.
my final options to choose from. There were three
राइट.
universities. The
ओके.
one of them was University of Maryland, then there was University of Cincinnati, and then Purdue University. And
Amongst these universities, how did you take a call?
yeah, so there are many factors that can be very subjective and some can be very objective. So, like university ranking in overall university ranking, or the ranking as a technical university, or the ranking for the specific department that you're going to, they all are very different matrices that you can look when you choose a university.
राइट.
But for that will be like a kind of an objective marker for master's program. But for PhD, additional marker that you have to include is that the advisor that you are going to work with.
हम्म.
Usually, or most likely, you will know who will be your advisor. If you don't know, like many other universities or many departments, if you don't know, then you you eventually have to choose an advisor for PhD.
ओके.
So you look at the people that you might be working with, and if there are good set of options, let's say there are two three professors that you think you will end up working with,
हम्म.
then how good those professors are in that department of that university. So that is a factor that how many options you have eventually to work with with any professor.
Understood. Understood. So then what you're saying is that apart from a lot of university research, there's a lot of professor research also that needs to be done. How many research papers has the professor published? What is their impact rating, etc., etc. वो सारी चीजें भी अपने को साथ साथ देखना होता है, along with the research group that is there. And what are the markers of their capability. You essentially have to pick and choose कौन से group के साथ आप काम करना चाहते हो for a PhD. That is,
Right.
I think, one fundamental difference between when you select a university for masters versus how and when you select a university for your PhD.
Yes. So,
Understood.
so that's why many people they flip the process other way around. They
Okay.
rather than starting with looking for university, they start looking for a professors they want to work with. So let's say for me, the field that I wanted to work was more or less fluid mechanics or
Right.
simulations in general, molecular
Right.
dynamic simulations. So I look for people who are working in that, who are leader in that,
Understood.
and then I applied to those universities. So people like it. It will be a really good correlation between a successful researcher and a that them working at a successful university. So
Hmm.
if you have the both the combination in your favor, then you won't have any confusion. But sometimes what will happen, the researchers is too good, really successful, but the university might not have those rankings.
Understood.
And sometimes the university is too good, but the researcher is still new, not yet established, and haven't fulfilled all the markers of the so-called success in academia.
Got
So
it.
then
So
you will be
when
confused that whether to go for a good
yeah,
university or for a good advisor or like a successful researcher.
and in your opinion, what should be given more weightage?
So the weightage should be given after a lot of consideration, and you need to ask a lot of people who are currently working with them, who had worked with those people, and you should be, in my opinion, you should give weightage to the advisor, to the research group, than the
Got it.
university, and that's
Hmm.
really crucial for PhD.
Understood. Understood. Great. Mihir, can you just explain a bit about, in very layman terms, what is it? What is your PhD thesis? What is it that you're working on right now? If it is not too confidential to reveal.
No, no, I can just give you a very high level idea.
Sure.
So my expertise, like that, what I do, what I contribute
Hmm.
to a larger research domain of like generating new knowledge,
Hmm.
solving some problem, is that I perform at this stage of my research career. I do molecular dynamic simulation. So
Okay.
that is like uh, let doing many things that happen in real life, but without doing experiments. That is helping, taking a help from
Hmm.
computations from computer to observe the motion and the behavior of different materials. And material can be anything: a solid form, a gaseous form, liquid form, or any, like any intermediate or mixture of them. So I do
Okay.
molecular dynamic simulation, and using that, I try to understand that how a particular enzyme, naturally existing enzyme called topoisomerase, that resolves, that cuts and rejoins DNA in all living systems whenever DNA is entangled to itself. So like a spaghetti or a thread that is
Okay.
that gets tangled to itself, like your earphones. They,
Right.
no matter what you do, they will get tangled. So you
Right.
try to resolve them. So what your hands do by separating the threads, the enzyme does it by cutting and rejoining the DNA, and that enzyme resolves the DNA complications, all kind of
Hmm.
tanglement.
Hmm.
So this enzyme in a larger scope is really important in developing cancer medicine. But
Okay.
in that larger field, what I'm doing is trying to understand how this enzyme functions. And that I do by using computers. That is molecular dynamic simulation.
Understood. So what you're saying is that by understanding these motion of materials, it will have a, a far larger ramifications in the field of how, let's say, drug gets delivered, how cancer gets treated in general in the body, right? ये
Yes.
समझ समझ सही रहा हूँ ना मैं मतलब
Yes,
this
you are
understanding
like,
is मोटा मोटी
so we don't even have to go to the application when
okay.
the field like cancer research in itself is it can have a department or a whole, like a
Yeah.
lots of team working on it. So because it's a big problem, it's a big field, a
Hmm.
lot of people has to contribute in in all the different missing spots. So the
Yeah.
spot that I'm filling is that how that enzyme functions, what are its uh, favorable condition, how does it go
Hmm.
about dealing with DNA, and
Hmm.
that just involves basic physics and mathematics. If you have the basic mathematics and basic knowledge of mathematics and physics, you would be able to solve that problem without much knowledge of DNA or biology. So that's why it's
Understood.
really convenient for me to do that research without having any training on biology, like being a medicinal doctor, or
Hmm.
I didn't even study biology in my 11th and 12th. Still, I'm able to do
Right.
that because
Hmm.
you learn whatever is needed for your research, and the rest it comes from your expertise, from your training so far.
Understood. Understood. ठीक है. I think I'll move on from here, Mihi. Right now, I would want to touch upon a sensitive topic, which is how financially taxing is it for people coming to USA for doing their PhD, for doing their masters. Uh, मतलब उसके उसके अराउंड हाउ हैज बीन योर एक्सपीरियंस? व्हाट डू यू थिंक आर द बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस? क्या ध्यान में रखना चाहिए, क्या नहीं रखना चाहिए, वो उस पे व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स?
Okay. So first thing first, you it might be hard to get PhD, but once you get PhD, it's the life is easy in the sense that you don't have to pay any fee for your program. University doesn't
Okay.
take anything from you. Like
Okay.
the tuition education, the the tuition fee that you pay for your master's education, which is a lot, like that's the
Right.
biggest chunk of your expenditure. That
Hmm.
is out of equation for now, because for every PhD student, almost every PhD student, they get they get tuition remission. That's a term that the
Okay.
university pays for your tuition.
Understood. So you don't have to pay any tuition fees if in case you get enrolled in PhD.
Yes, and that can there are different ways in which that tuition fees will be given to you as a reimbursement. That is, whether you are a teaching assistant in your department that you
Okay.
teach different classes, or you are research assistant, basically do your research of your PhD, and that will consider as an employment for which they will reimburse your tuition fee. And on top of
Right.
that, you will get some basic stipend.
Hmm.
That won't make you rich, but that won't let you stay poor as well. So
Understood.
that will cover your all your expenses like rent, food, even transportation. And if you live frugally, like almost all other Indians and international students do, you will be able to save some as well.
Right. What is the
So
average living expense? What is the average monthly living expense there?
so it can vary anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 per month.
Okay. Between
And
80,000, so roughly translate to INR, it's 80, between 80,000 to 1.5 lakhs, mota mati.
yeah, and PhD stipend as minimum, like they start from somewhere 2,200, $2,300 per month.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you don't spend much, like you cook by yourself, don't buy food from outside, which can be really expensive if you do it frequently. If you stay in a sharing apartment rather than the whole house to yourself, those factors can save you a lot of money, and you
Does
can save.
university provide you accommodation also?
So for in general, US universities don't provide accommodation to anyone else apart from the undergraduate students.
Okay.
So only undergraduate students are supposed to live on campus, and that's
Hmm.
kind of that's good that only undergraduate student can stay on campus, because it's really expensive to stay on campus in the dorms. It's and you the those hostel fees, the dorms fees include the food as well, and those are really high.
Right.
So it's good in a way, good that you can stay off campus, and you get to stay off campus, like in the vicinity of campus, and you will have lots of different apartment or private house options.
Hmm. Hmm. Got it. Got it. ठीक है. What are your plans after this?
So after this, I'll have lunch, and that's how I'll go about my day.
I mean, what are your plans after PhD?
Okay, so after PhD, so there are for me, I'm pretty much clear on what I want to do, is that I want to keep doing research. I want to be in academia. The academia is not just doing research, but it also includes teaching and mentoring.
Right.
Like how we see in the schools, that school is not just all about teaching. Otherwise, you can do it on YouTube or any other
Correct.
online media. You can know
Yeah.
things, but no one can mentor you. The mentoring happens in person, like a one-to-one
Hmm.
on one-to-one basis. So, so that's why I'm more inclined towards going into academia, the,
Hmm.
the the academic research. So after PhD, I'll do a postdoc. So that is kind of intermediate between being a academic professor and a PhD student, where PhD student is
Okay.
being trained and academic professor is trained and doing research and managing lab. So somewhere in between is that helping a PhD, some professor with training other PhD student. You That's what a postdoc does. That they they help
Right.
in functioning a lab while doing their own research.
Hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Very interesting, Mihir. Cool. Hmm. Next question that I would like to ask you is, I want you to think about your time here in USA for last 5 years.
Mhm.
Are there any incidents that happen with you that you would, want to tell me or the audience, that you know uh, sort of tells people about the reality versus the expectation? I mean, there's a certain perception in everybody's mind, right, here in India. भाई बच्चे बाहर जा रहे हैं, बच्चे बाहर पढ़ने के लिए जा रहे हैं, तो एवरीथिंग इज, एक बार बच्चा बाहर आ गया तो यहाँ पर पेरेंट्स के लिए ऐसा हो जाता है, अरे इट्स अ वेरी प्राउड फीलिंग, राइट? And I'm sure it is, no doubt about it. But what is it that you feel there as a student? वो उस पे I would want you to, you know throw some light.
Yeah, so
What
I
are your thoughts?
so I would like to give an analogy.
Hmm.
So going anywhere, like anywhere else from where you have been so far, is
Hmm.
like going into an ocean inside being a submarine. So let's say I'm from Gujarat. The first time I went
Hmm.
outside Gujarat to stay when be by myself
Hmm.
was when I went to Kota after my 12th, when I took
Hmm.
I was doing preparation for JEE. And so that was the first time I was being exposed to people who are different than me, speak a little language little differently, they live little differently. So
Hmm.
there's always a like culture shock, even to the city next to you.
Yeah.
So and as you go far away, that the extent of that shock, the magnitude of that shock will always increase. So when you are going all the way other way around the world, which is the United States of
सात
America,
समुंदर पार.
that's like I think one of the maximum the shock it can be when in the new society, in the new people. But the submarine signifies your academic campus because that's where you're going. So as long as
Hmm.
you're within the that circles, all the circles, everyone is speaking nicely to you. They know what you're doing, you know what they're doing, and their
Right.
interactions are really easy because
Hmm.
that's your community, that's your immediate colleagues or the kind of workplace friends. But you cannot stay in a submarine, like you can stay in a submarine
Right.
but you cannot stay in the campus all the time if you're living, because you are a
Okay.
living being. So you
Hmm.
have to go for groceries, you have to find a house to live, and that's when you interact with the American society, and there the experiences can be really subjective.
Hmm.
तो कोई आपको अच्छा मिल सकता, कोई आप मोस्ट लाइकली आपको सब अच्छे लोग मिलेंगे जो आपसे अच्छे से बात करेंगे, बट अच्छे की डेफिनेशन जब चेंज हो जाती है तब आपको लग सकता है कि ओ दिस पर्सन टॉक विथ मी लाइक दिस, you and that person didn't mean any harm to you, but you thought they should have talked to you differently. Then
Hmm.
you feel a little that, oh, I've come to a different place, this is not the global village is not uniform yet.
Can you share any experience that you had on this lines?
So like any like a very like every person has to go through the experience of looking for a house, and this is
Hmm.
really crucial because you're looking for a house when you're not there yet, when like you have to go find a house before going there.
Hmm.
So you have zero experience about the society that is there, the people who are there over there, how they talk,
Right.
and you have some notion about them and they also have some notion about you,
Hmm.
and they collide. So when I was reaching out for a house, to that I was talking to a landlord, and I realized that how technical and how legal of a contract they was looking at. And for me,
Hmm.
I was thinking, oh, some family would be able to give accommodation to me. They will be kind of friendly to me, or they will try to know more about me. That was all out of scope for them. For them,
Right.
you fill out this lease, you pay the amount. Uh, Let me know how much is the credit score or what is the proof of the payment, and then we are strangers once you are approved for the house. And that is not for like any corporate apartment that is maintained by a management or anything. That is
Hmm.
for a house owned by some person living over there, a regular citizen.
Wow.
So so things are very much like non uh, contextual. So you don't have to know a lot about each other doing these kind of transactions, and that can help. That can be good in many different ways. That
Yeah.
like that you don't have to contact, you don't have to know anyone already to find a
Hmm.
place, like how agents or the dalal in India, they help looking for houses. If you are
Correct.
some or other relative, or if you have good verbal references, you will have higher chances of finding house, but nothing like
Yeah.
that is there here. It's all like total legal contract, and if you make a trouble, you will be in a legal trouble, not a verbal or any feudal trouble.
So I think everything is driven by a legal contract. Everything is watertight. I think
Yeah. So I'm not saying there's a good system or bad system, which is a different than what we have been
it's just a
used to.
different
So
system
yes.
from
So
what you would
it
have
takes a
seen
little
in
time to
Gujarat.
get used to it.
Right, right, right. Oh, very interesting. सही है. और बताओ, anything else that you would want to share? Uh, any other instance, anything that you came across on campus? I think so. जैसे यार racism वगैरह के around there are a lot of articles somewhere here and there in news. ऐसा हो जाता है, वैसा हो जाता है. I think you are looked in general a little differently. I cannot imagine भाई किसी space में ऐसे रहना, and then a majority of people are different, and then they are looking at you a little differently. Does it impact you, not impact you? Does it happen, not happen? Is it everything is a hoax? क्या है, या फिर is it just a political labeling? That's all. So what's the ground reality there? वहां पर क्या है?
तो आई वुड स्पीक फॉर माई सेल्फ कि मेरे साथ ऐसे बहुत कुछ ऐसे कुछ भी मुझे ऐसे बहुत डिस्टर्बिंग लगा हो, ऐसा कुछ इंसिडेंट मेरे साथ नहीं हो,
हम्म.
बट डजंट मीन इट डजंट हैपन. इट कैन हैपन,
हम्म.
और होता भी है. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग इंसिडेंट्स होते हैं लोगों के साथ, बट वही जैसे मैंने बोला कि द लाइकलीहुड ऑफ दैट हैपनिंग इज रियली लेस इफ यू आर इन योर कैंपस.
Right.
क्योंकि कैंपस में सब लोग तुम्हारे जैसे हैं, एवरी वन इज अ स्टूडेंट और एम्प्लॉयर ऑफ अ कॉलेज कैंपस, like
Right.
employee of the college campus. So they are used to international students. They are used to
Hmm.
like students being students. So they won't there won't be any much of an issue. But as you interact with people outside campus, जिनको बहुत ज़्यादा नए लोगों से बात करने की आदत नहीं है, इंटरनेशनल
Hmm.
इमिग्रेंट्स के साथ बात करने की आदत नहीं है, तो
वहां पर
फिर
एक्सपीरियंसेस अलग हो सकते हैं.
हाँ, तो फिर यहाँ पे like a very minute thing कि the way the society function is like in the residential areas, that if someone is
Hmm.
going out for a walk or something, they say like hello, good morning. That greeting signifies that the other person is also sane person, is not some like wanderer or someone who is trying to steal something or anything.
Yeah.
So if you are trying to avoid contact like how we usually do, like we even if we make contact, we don't smile, we give that Indian stare. If you do that, then they less likely that they will trust you with what you're going to
Oh.
do, even if you're just walking. So
Hmm.
in the American society, the greeting is the way to make ensure for them that you are a sane person. Like, you mean no
You're
harm.
trustworthy. You're trustworthy.
Yes, and
Hmm.
that's called small talk. Like hello, how are you doing? Good morning. You won't even answer that, but just saying that, it means that oh, you know the etiquette, you know the manner, that how
Right.
you should be going about. But that's just that how the society functions here. So if you don't know uh, how to react when someone is looking at you, waving at you, then you will be like, oh, what is this? But on the contrary, we are used to having like long talks. Like if someone asks you how are you, you will maybe say in detail that this is what is going on.
Yeah.
So, but if someone is asking you and you start telling them, they won't be interested much to know how your day has been.
I think these are some of the very key small differences that you would need to get accustomed to once you are there. So no worries.
Yeah,
How are you
so you
looking at?
won't know any, like it's impossible to know everything before you going there.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
that being open to learn things, being open to adapt to the new system will is enough. It will get you going.
correct, correct, correct. I think it is important to learn unki society ke bhi kuch key important things if we are going to stay there for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, like the same the way we would expect that if someone comes from
Yeah.
some other part of the world to where we are living, they
Hmm.
also blend in
Right.
rather than having their own cocoon or staying there but not staying there.
Hmm. Interesting. How uh, how are you looking at Trump? How his policies, his uh, orders are creating an impact? Are they not? What are the discussions in academia circle in general?
So he, I mean, many of the things that he says might look ridiculous, and that breaks us our notion of how a president of USA is supposed to behave, is how he's
Hmm.
supposed to talk. He's
Hmm.
really creative and really new in that sense that no one
Yeah.
like him, no one of his background has come become any ever become a president of USA.
Yeah.
So that's why it's new to people that is talking style. But other
Hmm.
than what he's doing in terms of policy, the governance, he's just satisfying his voter base.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's more about American what American like the voters of Trump want than what Trump is doing.
But do you think in long term any of these political changes would you know in general disincentivize students or immigrants from coming to USA to make a better living, get a better lifestyle, or would impact to an existing pool of Indians which are living there?
I mean, it's already it has the impact is already there.
Okay.
People the the willingness to come to USA is not as much as it used to be. I'm not saying that it's higher. The people are considering USA. People are considering some other country for higher education better than USA. I think USA is still on the top because of it's a
Mhm.
huge uh, system, huge academic system, lots of universities. It's huge. Like the scale is on different compared to any other countries. So,
Right.
but I think the it's drifting away. Like people have started considering options, and there are many factors in place that even if Trump didn't come,
Hmm.
the recession or the law the recession followed by the COVID is still
Right.
there. There are not a lot of job for anyone. Forget about the immigrants.
Hmm.
So it the problem already started. Like the willingness to come here was already was declining after COVID because people
Yeah.
who came here during COVID uh, and right after COVID, they had really hard time finding a job. And many of the people that I know personally who came here for masters, they usually right after your masters you will have a job, any entry level job within few months. But
Hmm.
people had to wait for a year, or maybe 2 years. Many people who are just still stuck in the entry level position, they are not able to go beyond. So the current job market in USA and in on top of that the current welcoming that how USA is looking forward to the immigrant workers is also changing. So
Hmm.
and I mean of course people here who are here they talk with people who are going to come. So
Yeah.
that makes them a little alarmed that oh maybe this is not the best case. If someone is on the edge whether to go or not, maybe they will switch the decision. They will not go. People who are here, they who were thinking of settling here, they realize oh maybe this is not the best place. So maybe I'll settle somewhere else. So
So from what I've realized from my limited interactions with the students, right? I think the preference to come to US is still there. कोई भी स्टूडेंट होता है वो पहले यही बोलता है यार मेरे को देखो यूएसए तो जाना ही है आई विल कीप इट एज अ बैकअप इफ एट ऑल नहीं हो पाता है द हर्डल्स हैज बीन इंक्रीज्ड ऑब्वियसली फीस इज इंक्रीज स्लॉट्स मिलना मुश्किल हो गए हैं द इंटरव्यूज हैव बिकम स्ट्रिक्टर नाउ there are a lot of things, right? And then obviously the economy is not in a great shape. But I'm not 100% sure if the craze to come to US has impacted so far at a mass level. At least मेरे limited interaction में नहीं आया है. However, I've seen a couple of students who said कि okay, I think this next 2 years, 3 years may not be the right time. Uh, uh, तो तब तक के लिए कहीं और चले जाते हैं. People who want to study abroad, who are on their tight timelines, right? कि अभी ही समय है पढ़ने के लिए, and hence they are opting for second options or third options. But then there are a lot of predictions around कि uh, after maybe an year, there will be a year when there'll be a lot of incoming of student visas, students coming to study, right? A lot of immigrants coming in after this entire storm settles down. So I don't know, matlab, time will tell. But good to know what the opinion there is. I understand, and you rightly mentioned. I think the academic infrastructure that USA has built is so huge. It's numerous. I mean, it's mm,
Not just that,
massive,
like the
massive
resources
as
to
compared
accommodate
to,
the
yeah.
resources that they have, the scale at which research or the development work is going on, it needs
Hmm.
people. And so they are also looking forward for people. But at the current situation, they are giving priority the people who are American citizens. So that is
Do
so
you think
that
there's a
has changed.
disconnect between? Do you think there's a disconnect between the academic requirement in general or the manpower requirement that is there in USA to even sustain the already built infrastructure versus what the current administration is pushing for? उसमें कुछ disconnect दिखाई दे रहा है? कुछ लग रहा है कि ऐसा है?
So of course there is a disconnect, and that's why a lot of disruption is happening because of the new policy.
Hmm.
But the governance, the current government, they cannot afford much of a delay in implementing the what is the top priority policies, because they already had one chance in the previous term.
Yeah.
This is their second or and possibly the last chance to implement them.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
they are they cannot afford to wait. That's what I think. That's why they are in so much hurry. So even, it
Right.
hasn't even been a total 12 months, and we see so much of action from the government.
Would you recommend any new students who would want to pursue their masters or PhD in USA? What would you advise them? आना चाहिए, नहीं आना चाहिए? क्या सोच के आना चाहिए?
Yeah, so I think you should think a lot more, because you people, when you come here for masters, you know that you are not just coming for masters. You are coming for the opportunities after that, and
Absolutely.
and the work opportunities and the lifestyle options that you would have. You are coming for that as well.
Hmm.
So whether you like it or not, if you keep staying here, that's what you will have. Those limited options, or those you will have to choose between those options.
Hmm.
And for a lot of people, it doesn't work out. The lifestyle here, the structure of society that here, the workplace culture, it's very different. You should
Hmm.
know about it well in advance. Many people who come here, they start family here, and once they start family, and as a family, you cannot just stay separate like how you are bachelor students. You the kind of friends you have when you are unmarried versus when the kind of friends you have after being married will be totally
Yeah.
different. So you need to have a set of people to meet or to uh, get social with,
Hmm.
and though that will be really limited, so that can get you depressed if you don't have enough social interaction with other people. I'm just
Yeah.
saying in the very on the surface level. There are many other things that go much deep in that. You missing your parents, your close ones.
Yeah.
You think, oh, we'll call them here, but will they like it or not? But because they are used to in a very highly densely packed societal structure.
Correct.
And what about the next generation? Will they have all those opportunities or the social experience that you had? Do you
Hmm.
consider them important or not? And if you consider them important, how flexible you are to compromise on.
How will you pass it on? Also, I mean,
Yeah.
if that is important to you at all.
And whether you accept it or not, if you keep staying here, if you the, your next generation is spending significant time here in USA, then that would be an American kid. And would
Hmm.
you be comfortable looking at that? Because by that time you would be so invested that it will be difficult for you to decide that, oh, now that I can go back to India and start a new career again. So you were already
No,
so
I
deep
think a
in.
lot of people who would want to come to do masters here, or let's say plan a life here, are not coming with the mindset that they would want to return here back. That's my opinion. I don't know. I'm sure there's a small, a really motivated chunk of people who are going, who are learning, and who are intentionally coming back. But I don't think that's the story for everyone who is coming there
Yes.
or with that
So
mindset.
so if we are going just to take advantage of the academic infrastructure that USA is offering, and maybe to get some experience of to get some working experience right after that, then
Hmm.
yeah, just come and go. But
Hmm.
don't stay confused whether to stay or go back.
Yeah,
That's what I would say. And to remove that confusion, you have to think a lot. You have to talk with a lot of people. Then only you can get an idea.
makes sense. Very nice here. I think we should hold this for now. I think
Mhm.
this is enough for one interaction,
Yes.
and I'll probably have a follow up with you with deeper understanding on the matter. But I think it's really lovely to have you here, Mihir. It's really lovely speaking to you, man. Thanks a lot for agreeing to do this. Thanks a lot for sharing your stories, your understanding. I'm sure this will help guide and mentor a lot of students who are planning to do masters or PhD in United States of America. I'll also try and create a vibrant community around this, where anybody who watches this video, if in case he wants to understand or connect with you, will try and have an access mechanism for that, right?
Yeah, I'm glad to share my experience. I hope it's useful to people who are kind of trying to make a decision on this. And
Sure,
like always, take with a pinch of salt that these are just my perspective and experiences. So
absolutely.
try to make it broader. Uh, yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Lovely speaking to you.
Okay, bye
Take
bye.
care, man. Bye bye.
Bye.